Good afternoon.
Just gonna give maybe a couple more minutes. We'll start about 1:03 or 1:02. Um, Hello, everyone. For those who've joined a little later, we're just waiting for a few more participants to join, and then we'll start about 1:02, so about another minute or so. Um, Hope you're having a good afternoon right now. We're in Toronto, and the weather is great, so hopefully it's as the same as well where you are. Okay, so it's 1:02. Think we can start now. We're just going to start quickly. A little introduction. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining today's bootcamp on AI prompts, Matter AI, and LawY and Leap. We're very excited to have you here for a hands-on session designed to help you streamline your legal workflows using Leap's built-in AI capabilities. Through guided demonstrations and practical examples, you'll learn how to incorporate AI into your daily work, from drafting and summarizing documents to analyzing matters and improving client communication. My name is April Young, and I'm a legal content specialist at Leap. I'm pleased to introduce Jane Ermston from ThinkWild, one of Leap's trusted training and implementation consultants. Jane brings extensive expertise in helping firms get the most out of Leap, and today we'll be guiding you through today's bootcamp. So our aim for today is to showcase how you can practically use Leap's AI tools in your everyday legal work. On our agenda, as you can see on the screen, we will go through the first portion. The first section is LawY, which is your legal research and drafting assistant that also has an optional lawyer in the loop verification process. The second section we'll cover is Matter AI, which is your matter-specific AI assistant built into each Leap file. And last but not least is the AI prompts, which are your dedicated legal prompt precedents for getting consistent and high quality results from Matter AI. So I'd like to note that this is a workshop style sessions. So throughout this bootcamp, you'll be invited to follow along in your own in your own Leap database to try out these tools and participate in some exercises. At the end of each of these three sections, we will have a Q&A. So we do invite you to interact and ask questions at the end of each section. So if you're not logged into your Leap database right now, I would highly recommend you do so. And while we're doing that, I will hand over the screen to Jane, who will go over the LawY and Matter AI sections. Over to you, Jane.
Thank you, April, and hello, everyone, and good afternoon to you all. As April explained, I am Jane Ermston and I'm from a company called Think Wild, and we are a LEAP trusted training consultancy firm. We've been working with LEAP now in Canada for the past 4 years, and we have been training and implementing lots of firms on how to use LEAP. So I'm going to first of all share my screen. I'm just going to do a small presentation just to explain on the two modules that I'm going to be covering today. So I'm just going to share my screen right now with you all. So as you can see, working with AI and LEAP. So the tools that we're going to be talking about today are purely the LawY, the Matter AI, and April's then going to take over and talk about the AI prompts. And some of you may have already experienced some of these products, but as April said, if you've already got LEAP open, please follow along on the different exercises, and hopefully you'll be able to see how this is going to work and help your business to kind of work more efficiently and a lot more streamlined. So LawY, first of all. LawY is your trusted AI, legal assistant. LawY itself is going to combine the speed and efficiency of AI technology and with the accuracy of human expertise, also known as lawyer in the loop. So what the LawY product offers you is the ability to research through your Matter, through the LEAP system, through your Matter, and you can also then ask for that human verification. You can ask for the research that LEAP provides, the information that LEAP provides, you can ask for that research to be verified. You can also ask it without it going, that's optional of course, without it going for that verification, you can also ask for this to be, you can also ask it to do more deep research. The AI generated answers can be verified by qualified lawyers. So LEAP has a panel of lawyers that work very closely with LEAP. And basically, as you ask for that information to be verified by the lawyers, it will then send an email out to them. Everything is anonymous. There's no information from you going out to them. And likewise, the information that comes back to you, that information is redacted. So you don't know who sent that information back. But these are lawyers who are going to be analysing the information that you've been provided, the research that you've been provided, and will then feed back to say whether they agree with that research, whether they then suggest further backup information, further links on any resources, etc. So all of which is all through the system. You'll be notified through the system of that. But more importantly, sorry, let me just go back a second. More importantly is the qualified lawyers that it's going to go out to. You can confidently rely on those responses without worrying about hallucinated case law or inaccurate information. So because that information is going out through the system, and as April said, it's contained within, it's through the LEAP system itself, but more importantly, the research that is provided will be contained within the province that you're in, and also within the area of the case law that you're referring to. So for example, if we go on to a real estate matter and we ask for some research on there, and you are in a Ontario province, then the research that it's going to go out and do is contained within that environment. It's designed to take on heavy lifting of research and your administrative tasks. So from reviewing legislation, drafting affidavits, or summarising case law, these things you will do on a regular basis. You'll have your places that you'll go to do that research. But when you see how LEAP works on that, the LawY part, you'll then see that it's how it's contained. It doesn't go off and give you any other guidelines on other different provincial law, different places to go and research. It does keep all of that information contained within the system. So you can ask questions, you can have those responses evaluated, you can submit for verification, and you will then receive a verified response. So let's see how it works. So hopefully you guys are going to be have LEAP already logged in. And as you can see, I'm currently on a civil litigation. So my first example for LawY, we're going to be working with a civil litigation matter. So you'll see on the toolbar at the top, you have your LEAP AI buttons. In particular, we're working with the Research AI LawY. So if we click on this button, that's going to open up our window. And you'll then see It's going to generate the LawY window for us. So if you follow this with me, you need to be in a file. You can be in any of your files, and you click on the LawY button, and then you'll see it's automatically prompting you for your first question. So let's look at the window itself. Let's have a look at what the information is showing us. So first of all, how can I assist you with your legal research today? This is where we're going to ask the question. You can see it's got lots of different buttons around, but we'll first of all focus on this left-hand side. So you have almost a menu on the left-hand side. You've got, as always with any of the AI prompts or any AI modules, you'll see that it has an option to start a new chat or ask a new question. You'll also see historically, it's also saving those questions that you've previously asked, the research that you've previously asked Leap to research for you. Down here at the bottom, the menu that you'll see, the deep research, the verification. So if you have asked a question and you've asked then for further deep research on that question, that will then appear in here. So all the results of the research and all the results of the verification you can access, and that will also show you any historical ones that you've also done any research on. You've got another search facility down at the bottom, so you can almost create your own library of research. So it will save previous researches that you've done, and you can also use the search facility to be able to then search across all the different areas of case law that you've asked to research, any questions that you've asked for further research. And then, of course, we've got settings down at the bottom. So you can also, at the bottom, if you see verify registration, you yourselves, if ever you've quite fancy the role of becoming a verifying lawyer, you can also register as well, because Leap will welcome any registrations of anybody who would like to put themselves forward for that. So let's go ahead and ask a question. So the question I'm going to ask here is one I've already prepared. So I'm just going to copy and paste a question in there for me. But the research that I'm going to ask about is on Ontario within the civil litigation matter type. How do you file a motion to register a certificate of pending litigation in Ontario? You can be as specific as this, but if I then click ask at the bottom right-hand corner, it is then going to go off and you'll see that there's a status running at the top. So you've got a copy of your question at the top. You've got all of the research. It gives you that status bar of it's doing the research, it's ranking the documents in order of relevance. So it's going out to do that research outside of Leap, contained within, as we say, your province and, of course, the area of law. So the information that you come back is relevant to that matter type. Down at the bottom here, you'll then see you've got the ability to ask follow-up questions. So as you would expect from AI, for those people who use AI, you see that you've then got the ability to then be able to ask any follow-up questions. You'll also see when it does give you the information, you'll also see that Leap also then assists by asking questions. It's read the information, it's read the research that it's provided, and then you'll also then see that there is information at the bottom of suggested questions. Deep research and human verification, we can talk about this while it is generating, because this is real life stuff, guys. So you'll also see at the top right-hand corner, we've got the button, the big orange button to then press for that deep research. So you can ask it to do a little bit more of a further research for you. And you can also then push it forwards for that human verification. So you can be as broad of that question or as specific as you want to on there. But hopefully, guys, if you've been following this along with me, you've also got your information. You'll see on the left-hand side, you've got examples of questions or research that you've already done. So all of that is now filling in on that left-hand side of historical questions that you've asked, historical research that you've also asked here. So it is, when it returns that information, it is also going to give you reference material as well. So in each of the different areas of information that it's going to provide, it will also give you a link to the resources that it's found for you. So I'll just pop into this section here, and then hopefully that's generated for us. So the deep research that you see here, if I just expand that window, then any deep research, anything that you have pushed through for any deep research, you'll see the results of that research there. So it will show you the research status, the verification status, and of course you can create and build up your own research information there. You'll see the same with the verification. So once that piece of information has been verified and you get the results back from that verifying lawyer, it will then show you what those verifications look like in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the question that we've asked and the research, and then we'll take a look at the information that it's given to us. So you get the overview first of all, as you can see on here, and then it will give you specifics. So the question that I've asked as our example, you can see that it's given me a lot of information, but if you look inside the content of the information, you'll see that it's provided you with links to that. So as you can see, there's lots of different places that it's looked at the information for me, all of which are relevant references. And if we just scroll all the way down, you can see that it's giving you all the different information around the question that we've asked at the top. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom so you can see we've got support and links from the Ontario courts in Canada. You'll see there's different reference points through the different pieces of information. Okay, and then scrolling all the way down to the bottom, you've now got the questions. So what Leap has done is it's kind of read the information that's been provided to you. And then also down here at the bottom, it's also then suggested those questions. So this is where AI really kicks in. So it doesn't just give you a standard set of questions. What it's done is it's taken on board the question that you've asked. It's brought through the research, it's scanned all of that. And then also it's now suggesting additional questions to you. Before we do go into one of those questions, you'll notice that we have a little, almost like quick access toolbar. And the quick access toolbar that you have down at the bottom are specific to this area. You'll see when we look at the Matter AI chat very soon, you'll see that that has its own little toolbar as well. But typically on any of the AI tools that you've got through the Matter AI, you'll see that you've got the ability to copy to the clipboard. So if you are happy with the information, you then don't need to do the whole kind of drag and copy. You can copy to that clipboard. You can also, you've got an Ask AI facility here as well. And in that little sparkle icon that we can see there, the AI icon, you can see that you've now got the ability to make that information shorter. So if you were happy with that research, but actually it's something maybe that you wanted to send on to your client, once you've got that information, then you can ask for that information to be made shorter. Now, the LawY AI doesn't provide any information relating to the matter that you're on, any client information. All of that is protected. But just in case you were ever kind of worried that it might have any information in there, you can ask it to remove personal information. It's recommended to do that before you then move that on for that human verification. And that will just kind of pull out any personal reference in there. You can also ask for it to improve writing. So if you are doing the research and you're asking questions down at the bottom, you can then, based on the information that's provided, you can ask it to improve any writing in there. You can ask it to fix any spellings and grammar. And of course, the final one at the bottom, you can ask it to translate, and it has a selection of languages that it can translate to. So if you do select any of those options, when you click on Make Shorter, sometimes I click on this button and think, now what do I do? But if you just highlight it there, okay, we've selected that item there. I'm just going to kind of press Enter. And what that will do is it's going to take the information above and it's going to generate it and make that shorter. So you can see that it pops up a box on that left-hand side. Sometimes I click on it and wait, but just be a little patient because it's taking all of the information above, making it into a shorter piece of information. And then that is probably a more manageable kind of wording to send off if you were going to use that in a document to form part of your file, part of your matter, or at least, send off to your client. So you can see at the bottom, you've got the ability to copy to the clipboard as well. So I'm just going to move along the icons here. So as with any AI, you'll see here on this instance, you'll also see in Matter AI chat, we've got the thumbs up, we've got the thumbs down scenario. That's basically your way of letting Leap know that the information that has been provided is good, or thumbs down. So it is going back to Leap as that feedback, doesn't go elsewhere. It's within the Leap walls, and the thumbs up is going to say, yes, that information is good that you have provided from that research through the LawY. Or thumbs down, any piece of feedback that you give to them, they may ask for a prompt, or they may ask for further information. Why do you agree that it's good, or thumbs down? Over here on the right-hand side, you then get a list of the sources. So that will then show you a list of all the sources. So you get them at the point of the reference points, but you'll also get them down here at the bottom. So you can click on them individually from there. And then you can also then get that verified. But as you can see, there's a huge orange button at the top right-hand corner that we can use for that deep research. So once you've got your suggested information, guys, at the bottom here, you can ask your own follow-up question, or you can also use one of Leap's suggested questions. So I'm going to use one of Leap's suggested questions. Click on, are there any alternatives to a CPL for protecting an interest in land pending the outcome of litigation? So then you'll see that it's going through that research. So it's going out to do that research. It's then taking into consideration what we've asked above, and then it's then going to filter down the web sources by relevance. Now, when we take a look at the research and the verification, what it will also do is it will also pick up any information and any questions that you've also asked. So as you're doing the research, asking the questions, using the information, when it comes to the results, and if you're wanting to push that through for that verification, you can then choose to include the questions, because that might influence the research feedback that you get. So when this has generated, and then again, you've got all the different reference points there as well. And it doesn't take long. And, sometimes people will say, it takes a while, Jane, to generate. Absolutely not. This would take you so long to do that research and to do that evaluation and to ask those questions. So you can carry on having the conversation about that, or if you want to, you can start a new piece of research at the top left-hand corner. But we're going to take this information that we've done already, and we're going to go over onto the right-hand side next to onto the deep research and human verification button. So that slides over a panel, and in that panel, you can see that it's now listed the original information that you asked for, and also the additional question as well. So you can select both of those and take it on to deep research, or you can also then say, well, actually, yes, on that research that you provided, Leap, I would like to get that human verification there. And of course, as you can see, if I just hover over that, it's encouraging and asking for learn how to become a verifier yourself. Okay. You can also then add additional questions. So you can really take that research, you can interrogate it a little bit more, asking additional questions, because we're now sending this off for deep research and verification. We can then potentially say, in taking the research that we've done already, consider, you might want to put further considerations in there based on the matter itself that you're doing that research on, but without putting any specific information in about names and, your information. So I'm going to click next at the bottom right, and it's just checking we're happy with those questions there. You can, of course, elaborate a little bit more. So the more information that you can provide on this, the better the verification, and of course, what they're going to be working on when they see that. I'm going to click submit on there, and then you'll just get that confirmation, deep research with verification submitted on that right-hand side. Now you can carry on, doing whatever you need to on there. You can kind of, click on the links and see what's going on there. But if I just take you over here on the left-hand side onto that deep research, you can see there that the information has then listed for us. So you can see the research has gone through. Now, you will notice that mine does say skip verification. This won't happen to you guys. It's just because I'm using a test database today. Leap knows that anything that I send through for that verification, it's just for training purposes only. Okay, so you can see this lists your questions that we've asked, and we're not asking for the verification on the additional question, but we want that verification on the original question that we did the research on. And if I go onto the verification down at the bottom, it then just separates out those items for you on there. Okay, so as you can see, the verification is waiting that status on that particular matter. You can reset it if you want to. If we can go back to that question and go back to the research, but that now will stay in your history on that left-hand side of all the different questions on research that you've asked for. If we just click on search, you can then search within those conversations. You can use that to search. So like we said earlier, this is now going to be something that you can build up your own case reference information, case law, reference materials, reference points, and knowing that you can come back to this at any point. Okay, so I'm just going to close that down, guys. In fact, before we do, if you wanted to at the bottom, so with LawY, as you're doing the research, if you wanted to use it and you were happy with the information that it provided and you wanted to then draft a document for that, you can use it, the information. So draft an email to the client with a summary of the above. So using that as an example, you might want to say, draft an email to the client, but focus specifically on a particular area or a particular piece of research. But if I just scroll down, you'll see that Leap has then gone into drafting all the way down to the bottom. Leap has gone into drafting an email. So not only does LawY do that research for you, but you can also then, if you're happy with that research and you're not pushing that through for that verification, you can also ask it to provide you with help on drafting an email with summary information at the top. So you can help, it can help you to draft documents as well. Okay, so that's effectively LawY. Hopefully you've been following that with us. You've been able to do an example of your own, but that information there, if I just close that window down, is already available for me just by going back into the LawY, opening that window again, and it will then take me back to the window, and it will, you'll then see that we've got that historical list on that left-hand side. Okay. So the next piece of AI that we're going to take a look at is the Matter AI chat. So I'm just going to go ahead and just explain a little bit about Matter AI. So Matter AI chat is a quick way of you getting answers from your matter. Matter AI intelligently examines your Leap's Matters correspondence, notes, details, critical dates, appointments, all the information that you store on your matters. So it's worth having that information, having those documents and letters and emails stored on there, but also using as much of that correspondence, as much of the critical dates as possible. Yeah. From tens of thousands of documents, you will receive detailed responses along with references to the specific documents within seconds. Matter AI analyzes all the intricate details within your matter, so freeing you up to do other things, to do things that is what you're an expert at. So rather than spending all of your time working out, reviewing your documents, opening your documents, comparing your documents, you can let the Matter AI do that for you. It will enhance the quality of your work, increase your productivity and boost productivity by checking those details, checking those dates and appointments. Draft emails, so you can draft emails through it. You can send directly through Microsoft. You can ask it to draft your documents. So like we saw with the LawY example, we can do the research and then ask it to draft the documents. You can ask it to summarize documents and summarize folders. And compare documents, you can use it for document comparison. So you've probably seen, hopefully Leap has got its own document comparison, which opens up in Word track changes. But you can also use this AI tool to do the comparison. And it's a great comparison tool. You can ask it for the differences. You can ask it for the what are the similarities. You can also get it to extract key terms and concepts from documents, analyze financial transactions, retrieve content information, provide you with, the list is endless. Today we're going to focus on a couple of examples. So I'm just going to go into another matter for us. You can see we've got another litigation one. So again, I'm on a litigation file, guys. If you want to go into a matter now, if you've got a matter that has got lots of documents on there, this is the best tool that you can use to check, analyze, and work with your matters. So what we're going to do is, first of all, select Matter AI Chat. So the Matter AI Chat will first of all open up and generate a window which has gone off to scan your correspondence. So that's the first thing that it's doing. It's gone off to scan the correspondence. The AI was getting ready for that research. This is now correspondence based. So it's then going to go off. You'll see, as with the previous window, you've got similarities. We've got the ability to create a new chat. You've got additional chats that you've had historically over time. This information or these chats are what you've asked on your matters. So it's not going to show anybody else the chats that you've had, but you can go back to previous chats and see what the results were. Bearing in mind it's as at the point of that generation. You can see, of course, it's introducing the AI chat. You can ask me for insights and information from the correspondence on the matter and what would you like to know. So we're going to ask that question. But before we do, I would want to draw your attention to the top right-hand corner. On this, the three dots at the top right-hand corner, you'll see the view the document status. This is important because you need to be aware that the documents that it's going to be looking through, potentially there might be some that haven't scanned, there might be some that haven't loaded. So going onto the three dots, you'll see what documents have failed, if any documents which have been loaded. So if you're asking questions and you're asking a question about a particular document and it isn't giving you that information, potentially could mean that that document has failed for whatever reason. You can then ask for it to retry the document. It will go off and it will load that document for you there. But you can filter out all the different documents, the ones that are currently loading, the ones that have been loaded, any which have been excluded, okay, and any which have failed. So if I just go back to all, you'll see that that's now regenerating, and then I'm just going to go back to the AI window. Okay, so here's the chat. You'll see that, again, in true keeping with that AI style, in Leap, you'll see that it's already got suggested questions at the bottom right-hand corner. So the suggested questions are not just questions that have been created based on a civil litigation matter itself in general. It's actually scanned the documents for you and suggested those questions. So almost thinking for you, I think that you're going to want to ask this question here. Before we do ask a question, I just want to show you down here at the bottom, you've got options. So we've got options of the kind of source that we want to use. So you'll see now that Leap isn't just fixed at a GPT check. It can also, if your preference is to use Claude as an example, you can change that so you can search within Claude itself. So we've got different matter call for different levels of reasoning depth and speed. And you can opt for a faster model, you can see here, and more straightforward queries. And so it's just worth examining all of those different options that you get. You can see that you've got, it defaults to an ask, and you can see that you can change that to agentic chat. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep it simple for now. We're going to ask a simple question. So my question is, has the client attempted to resolve the dispute directly? Okay, so you guys can go on and just ask a simple question. We'll do a few simple examples. Just press enter or click on the little arrow to the right hand side. So you can see that it's gone off to grab those files, grab those documents, and bearing in mind it's now looking at the whole of your matter. It looks at the correspondence that's contained within these folders. It looks at key dates, it looks at data, it can even look at financial data on your files as well. So if you said, can you provide me with a list of invoices outstanding, or provide me with a list of payments from trust, you can ask it for information like that. So yes, the records indicate the client did attempt to resolve the dispute directly. So it doesn't just answer the question, it also explains the reasoning behind that. So it tells you here, I'm just going to maximize that window, guys. You can see here that it has given you the information and also the bottom line at the bottom. So also what it's showing you, there's a link at the end of each paragraph. The link refers to the documents it's found the evidence in as well. So it's backing up the information that it's provided. You can click on those links here, or you can click on the links at the bottom. So let's just look at the different options that we have down here, guys. So you can ask, again, because it's AI, those of you who are experienced in AI, you can ask it to regenerate a response. Sometimes it does give you more information. Sometimes it comes back with, a different way of saying things, but you can ask it to regenerate your response. You can also copy the response like we saw before, copy to the keyboard. And you can also see that you can share response. So unlike the LawY part where we could ask it to draft an email, here you can just ask it to share the response, and that will automatically create an email. It will send it to Outlook, create that email for you, and give you the information from there as well, if you wanted to use that in that email. You've got your thumbs up, thumbs down. So you like the response, you don't like the response. And again, it's letting Leap know that whether that information, you're training AI all the time, you're training it at Leap all the time to go, yes, this information that you provided was good. Also gives you the ability to say what what your options or what your experience were. You'll also, at the end of each of the paragraphs, you'll also see it has a little bubble of its own. And if you can also, on those paragraphs that it's found the information, you can ask Matter AI chat to ask the reasons why you found that, or you can then say, based on that result that you've given me, give me some more information. So again, you can ask it to regenerate that, or if you are planning to use the information that it's provided, you can then ask for it to say, don't include this when I generate the email to the client. So you can ask it to kind of omit that from that result. Then, of course, down at the bottom, it has also then suggested. So based on your question, it's also then suggested. So if I click on one of these options here, you'll then use one of Leap's suggested questions. What steps has the client taken to address the dispute prior to seeking legal advice? And what you'll see with this part, unlike the LawY, which is doing the research, this one is now based on the records. So make sure you've got all your information in there, and then just let Leap do the rest with this AI tool. So based on those records, he made complaints to the glaziers. He's attempted to resolve the matter amicably. And of course, no attempt kind of was successful, because now we're kind of putting that claim through. So the available, and then you get, of course, a summary at the bottom. So that information are basic questions. You can also ask it, if we just ask it to generate a new chat at the top left-hand corner, you can also then start a new chat. So new chat about this matter, new chat about the document, or new chat about a folder. So if you wanted to say, let's start a new chat for the matter, you can ask it for things like create a timeline of events. So one of my favorites is timeline of events, and it's going to go off, but it's going to look at your key documentation, but also it's going to look at the key dates on the file as well. So you've got the initial consultation, the initial contact back in 2021. It's been going on for some time, all the way through. And again, in true kind of AI style, it's showing you here the reference points of where it's finding that information out. So these are documents you'll see on some occasions it's found information from the calendar, any critical dates and any appointments in there. Other procedural or scheduling information noted. So it's giving you what we've asked for, but also suggesting other information at the bottom. And also making us aware that there's gaps in the records as well. So based on the information that we have, based on the dates that we have, it's identified already that we've got gaps in the record. So this AI tool is great for anyone to use, whether you're working on the file, whether you're asking questions on the file, whether you need that information for evidence, by all. Okay, anyone can use this. Okay, another kind of quick thing that we can do, you can ask it to provide you with a chain of correspondence. So I'm just going to finish off with a couple of quick examples, guys. Provide it with a chain of correspondence. So if you're wanting to see the kind of timeline of events, more time related, but then this is showing us a chain of correspondence. So based on the key documents that we have in here, you can see the dates they were sent, and kind of brief explanations of that. And I think we'd all agree that the information and certainly the details that are being provided is quicker than we would have even begun to kind of start with. Okay, now, of course, with all of that information, then you can ask it to draft your document. So yes, we can send that off to Outlook, but we can also then say, draft an email to the client, draft an to draft an email. This is really good. Draft an email to client with a summary of the above. Okay, so you can ask it to draft you that information on there as well. So you can ask it to check dates, financial information, all of the above. Now, one of the things that people use Matter AI chat for is things like chronology of events, summary of events, and things like that. So what Leap has also done is it's kind of given us a tab specifically for a matter summary. So I'll just kind of review this with you. You can see that the information has been provided, and then again, we can ask it to take those documents out or those paragraphs out before we then push it off to an email. So I'm just going to minimize that out of the way, guys, and just take you back into the matter, because part of this AI chat button here, Leap has given us this tab, which is purely just like going onto that AI chat and just doing a Matter AI summary. So this is a great tool. It's a great tab for you to use on that Matter summary. If you're kind of like, you need to kind of catch up on holiday notes, we don't need to do those holiday notes anymore. We can literally just go in, have a look at those Matter summary, and it's going to go off, and it's got a prompt behind the scenes that it's going to capture the information. And if you've all clicked on your Matter for that Matter summary, it's going to generate that for you there. Now, I'm just conscious that I'm just in your time right now, April, so that's just generated that for us. So based on that information, guys, you can see that you've got reference to those documents, like we've got with that AI, so you can then check that information. So hopefully you've found a lot of those examples useful if you've been following that with us. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to hand you back over to April, and then she can show you the next part of our session. Thank you, April.
No, thanks, Jane. That was very informative, and I hope everyone has had a good time following along. Thank you so much, Jane. So I'm going to talk about Matter AI prompts now that we've seen the capabilities of Matter AI. I see. Oh, thank you, Andrew. You're very kind. Let me share my screen very quickly. And so, while I'm kind of getting set up right now, if you guys could, if you want to follow along what I'm doing, I would suggest you pick a matter with a lot of data. We're going to look at creating a final reporting letter at the end of a case. So if you have any, almost finished cases or cases that are finished that you'd like to use to follow along, please feel free to open up your Leap matter right now. As I, talk a little bit about what Matter AI prompts is, for those of you who have attended, several of our webinars, Matter AI prompts is quite one of the big things that we do talk about. So, but for those who haven't, well, Matter AI for word prompts, they're basically these prompt precedents that are powered by Matter AI. And so there are specific instructions or a question provided to the Matter AI that then will ask it to generate a legal document or a letter that can be used for your matter. They can also be used to produce matter-specific drafts, such as affidavits, pleadings, and briefs, based on the information within that matter that you've opened. So these prompts are crafted by lawyers and by our content development team. So I'm part of that team that creates these prompts. With that said, let's jump into it. I know we're a little bit tight for time. So I currently have this matter. It's my matter. It's not completely finished. It's halfway because of a financial dispute with the client. The client decides to drop us as the lawyer. So in this case, we're going to send them uh, a final bill, a final accounting bill, as well as a final reporting letter. So the let me show you where the AI prompts can be found. So when you go to in your matter, when you go to forms and precedents, normally it'll show up as litigation. I've been doing some stuff around the screen, so I went up to a different matter, but normally it'll open up to your civil litigation because I'm in a civil litigation matter. Feel free to open up any other matter that you want. Um, Although this prompt is in the final reporting letter prompt is in the civil litigation matter, but we are working to create more prompts for other matter types as well, and final reporting letter would be one of them for the other matter types. You're welcome to try that prompt out for another matter type as well. So as you can see in our uh, forms and precedents library, there's an AI prompt library underneath it. So if we go into it, a second, what hopefully loads. And you can see our list of prompts and ah, oh my God, I am so sorry. Give me 1 second. This is happening because we're on Zoom as well, and it does sometimes take a moment for things to load. Um, but hopefully you're following along and you're trying to open a final reporting letter prompt as well. So we sometimes it's hard to find in a list. So if we search it, oh, second. So the prompt is here. Now we will double click it and open it up. While we're waiting for the document to load, is there any other questions so far that anyone's have? Just giving it a little moment. This is kind of what happens when we're doing Zoom webinars. So now you see we have the document loaded. Um, and let me just kind of set this up. So on the left-hand side, on where the word processor is, you can see this. There's content already. So this is kind of the meat of the prompt. We have the purpose, and then that tells you what this prompt is about. We have the role that tells Matter AI like who you are, when what kind of tone you're supposed to be writing this letter as. Then is the template. So the template is the instructions that tell Matter AI what it's supposed to generate, what information it's supposed to read and generate. Just a quick note, Matter AI in this, for the prompts, it will just read all the information that's on your current Matter that this prompt is opening. So as you can see, for a final reporting letter, we will ask it to have a summary of legal work performed, matter status, financial summary if there's any, and then kind of a quick closing the file blurb. When you read these instructions, we also have a rules section as well. But when you read these instructions, you are welcome to make any changes to the template. If, for example, you don't want the standard wording, you want to have your own wording, you're welcome to amend this prompt yourself. There's one way you can do it. You can do it when you open the prompt. Once you change anything in this in this side of the document, you would have to go and reload on the Word add-in. However, if you want to standardize this wording for all of your prompts, you will go into edit your precedents and you can change this precedent itself directly so that when you reopen any prompt from that precedent, that thereafter you will have your changed wording. Now you can see on the right-hand side, this is our wording for the Matter AI. And this is as big as it gets, I think. So it has kind of read through the instructions and it has generated kind of the content of the final reporting letter. We'll go through it quite slowly. You see, like this is the standard heading that we've asked it to create, and the summary, and kind of summary of legal work performed. Um, and it tells you, oh yes, the matter is still ongoing when our representation ended. Like I mentioned, in this test case that we've set up, the client is like, oh, there's just too much legal fees, so I don't want to go on with you guys, basically. So now we're doing this final reporting letter for the client to close our file. And we do have an invoice as well, and it does pull the information from there. Um, as you can see down here, you can see where Matter AI has referenced the documents. So you can see which document it's referenced. Here, if you're happy with this document, you can press insert a new letter, and then a new letter precedent will pop up, replacing this prompt document with the generated content. Now, let's say you want to make changes on this Word add-in itself. Then what you can do is, let's say you want to just change, the wording of this little paragraph. There is a button here where you can click it, and once you click it, it'll highlight this paragraph. And if you click Ask Matter AI, you can for example, you can tell it, oh, condense this paragraph to, 3 sentences. Oh. And so once you've done that, Matter AI will regenerate the letter again with your instructions. And as you can see, the paragraph has been condensed into 3 sentences. Now, if there's a bigger change that you want to do to the entire document, there's a section here that says Ask Me Anything. and you can put your instructions in this toolbar instead. So let's say you want to regenerate the letter in uh, without Alex Scott being uh, Alex Scott is the lawyer, without Alex Scott being the writer. Uh, you can say I have you know, April Young as the writer instead. She is the legal assistant. And once you do that, it will take maybe a couple more seconds than the previous example, but it will regenerate this letter in the voice of April Young, the legal assistant, instead of the lawyer itself. Um, so uh, there we go. So you can see now it says, please contact April Young, legal assistant instead of the lawyer. And to demonstrate it, we can press insert new letter. So if you're So if you're following along with the generating these prompts, like to mention that there's a few more useful prompts that might be helpful. We do have client correspondence summary. We have summary of medical records. We also obviously we have a matter summary prompts as well. We do have some specific prompts for litigation. There's quite a few for Ontario, and we're developing some for BC, Alberta, and some of the other provinces. We have some kind of Canada-wide prompts that are hopefully helpful to all the provinces. So if you do want to see a whole list of the prompts that we have, you can go onto the community page on our LEAP website. And at the bottom, you will find a prompts library that will show you the list of prompts that we have. Is taking a while to generate this letter right now because, like I said, Zoom is taking up a lot of resources. So we have like a couple minutes left before the end of this webinar. So if anyone has any questions, I do see a question here about the token usage. I don't believe there's any policy around token usage, but we can look into that for you a bit more, Roy. Um, but yeah, like right now, I don't believe there's any limit to running anything on Matter AI or on the prompts or LawY at the moment. If there's any questions, feel free to kind of speak up right now. While we're hopefully waiting for this to uh, to to open up. Um, oh, okay, so okay, there we go. So as you can see, we do have the letter generated here. Um, and just ignore my header. It's not very nice. I hope yours is better. But you can see that the content that we've generated on our Matter AI for the word prompts have been moved onto this letter precedent. So that's it for my part, I believe. We are we have 1 minute. Oh, Chris, your hand is raised. You have a question?
Yes, hi.
Hello, hello.
Thanks for all of this, April. Quick question. The if you forgive the terminology, Leap AI agents will stay inside the Leap ecosystem. I understand that. Is there any plans to have it be able to look somewhere else? For example, Leap, my particular Leap is integrated with Microsoft 365 and my Outlook. Um, Other than things, of course, that I've saved into Leap or that have exist inside of Leap, it can see all of those emails. Is there any ability for Leap AI to look outside or talk to any agents that are outside the Leap ecosystem?
Hmm. That's a great question. Thanks, Chris. For now, I don't believe there's any plans for that kind of integration, because obviously there's I guess like issues of confidentiality and privacy of information, right? We are primarily more concerned with keeping the ecosystem within, the privacy of users. So yeah, so like the answer is right now no. But yes, if there are later on, obviously we'll do more, webinars and sessions about that, of course, as well. Roy, you have your hand up. We are 1 minute away, but I'll take your question and then that'll be it.
Yes, thank you. Sorry if this was already covered. I may have missed it, but can you have the AI auto-populate your letterhead, or do you have to cut and paste the content of a letter into sort of a letter precedent?
So the example I did just now, is that for Matter AI or for the word prompts?
Uh, I guess Matter AI or both, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, so for the word prompts, like I kind of demonstrated, there would be a button that says insert in new letter. If you choose that one,
Got
then
it.
the letterhead will be populated. But if you are generating
Perfect.
anything on Matter AI chat, then you do have to open a letter yourself, and then you have to copy and paste your thing onto it.
I see. And in the same vein on word prompts, can you have it auto-populate, let's say, like a statement of claim?
We don't have a prompt for a statement of claim right now, so
Gotcha.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's only the prompts that we currently have available that you'll be able to generate that document. But of course, if you're tech savvy and you want to play around, see if you're also welcome to try out your hand with one of the trying out making a prompt for that as well. But yeah, right now we don't.
Understood. Thank you.
No worries. So yeah, so we're running a little bit over. I'm sorry about that. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. If you do have any questions, feel free to contact the content development team. I'm sure hopefully you have our email address somewhere. But if not, like welcome to send us an email or even use the feedback buttons and let us know any questions, feedback, or even suggestions for more prompts and more um, and all of that. But yes, thank you so much once again, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks, April. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jane.